Today, I want to share my story about dating my ex-boyfriend when I was just starting college. This is a tale of love, red flags, and the journey to finding happiness on the other side of a toxic relationship. So grab a snack, get cozy, and let's dive into this journey together. 2 years ago, I was in my first year of college. I met a guy, let's call him Jake. Things moved pretty fast between us, but we took our time getting to know each other. At first, I thought he was genuinely nice. He shared some opinions I completely agreed with. However, I overlooked many warning signs that would later turn into huge problems. After about 6 months, I started noticing changes in his behavior. Initially, Jake would share stories about being bullied in high school. He talked about how he was an outcast, and I sympathized with him. No one deserves to go through that, right? He also claimed his parents were abusive and favored his older brother. Turns out, most of what he said wasn't true at all. He preferentially isolated himself in college, even when others wanted him to join. Whenever we were around people, he made rude comments behind their backs. I remember telling him to stop, but he'd act like I was the bad guy for saying anything. Our arguments often ended with me apologizing, even when I hadn't done anything wrong. Jake had a way of twisting things, making me doubt my feelings. He would say things like, "You should just block me. I can't be the you want." But still, I defended him because I genuinely believed he was a great guy. That all changed when we had a big fight one day. He told me it wasn't his responsibility to handle my emotions. That struck me hard. It made me realize that he was more in love with the idea of having a girlfriend rather than being a good partner. From that moment, I knew I had to leave him. But it wasn't that simple. Our on and off relationship dragged on for a few months. Then, just before our 1-year anniversary, something happened that made it crystal clear that I needed to end things for my own peace of mind. We were sitting in class. I was with a close friend while he was in the back, appearing to sleep. After a while, I decided to check on him, thinking maybe he needed some comfort. But his response was cold. He gave me attitude and went back to sleeping. I realized I couldn't take his disrespect anymore, so I left him be. When I got home, he exploded on me with a barrage of insults, calling me self-centered and foolish. That was the final straw. I told him it was time to break up. He immediately got defensive, insisting he didn't mean what he said. But after months of feeling belittled and unappreciated, I was set in my decision. After the breakup, he started showering me with gifts and attention, trying to win me back. All of a sudden, he had money to buy chocolates and claim he understood his faults. But I wasn't swayed. During our breakup, I repeatedly told him it was about me needing to move on, not about him being a terrible person. He created these wild scenarios, claiming we were meant to be because of our college ID numbers. He insisted that fate was telling us we belonged together. Then he lied about his mother being seriously ill, begging me not to leave him while claiming she couldn't speak anymore. But when I heard her calling him from the other room one night, I realized he was just making things up. His family wasn't abusive at all. He was the one with serious trust issues and lies. At that point, I couldn't help but laugh. I thought, how could anyone think these tales could ever be believable? During all this, my best friend was my rock. He had just gone through a tough time, losing both his father and girlfriend on the same day. As I was leaning on him, we slowly developed feelings for each other. Eventually, we decided to date, but I kept it from Jake, knowing how he would react. Things escalated to a point where he contacted my mom, trying to convince her to make me come back to him. She never liked him, so that didn't go well for him. We eventually told him about our relationship, and he responded with anger, saying I never gave him a chance. He blocked me, and strangely enough, I felt relief. Now, in my new relationship, I've never been happier. My current boyfriend has faced hardships, but he has never made me feel like a burden. He understands the importance of emotional support, something Jake completely disregarded. It became clear to me that a healthy relationship isn't about how much money someone has, but about being there for each other emotionally, physically, and mentally. I truly learned what love should feel like. So, if you're in a relationship and feeling unhappy, don't ignore those red flags. Sometimes it might feel safer to stay where you are, but I promise that you deserve to be in a loving and supportive environment. If you relate to my story, share your experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video if you found it interesting and subscribe for more content about relationships and everything in between. Remember, happiness is worth fighting for.
To select a new voice, just click on the speaker image or name. Browse and listen to our vast selection of voices and pick the perfect one for your project. Press Generate on the right to get started and then Play button to listen.
Kickstart your content creation with Jenny and unleash your creativity. Empieza ahora. Abshuruho.